Good morning, everybody. I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to Week in Review. Hey, this is the Dice Hour. We do a lot of videos about board games, a lot each week. So this is just a quick index of sorts where we're going to take a short look at all the videos we did last week, tell you what we think of the games, and then if you want to see more, we'll have a link to each of those in the description below. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, I'm Zee Garcia, and here's what I reviewed last week. So I reviewed Sagani, which I rated a 7 out of 10. This is a tile drafting game and a puzzly game in which you're trying to position these tiles with specific relations to each other. It's nice because it's pretty light, very quick moving game, but thinky. It does have some analysis paralysis, but I enjoyed the way it flowed. I enjoyed the way it played out. And while it's basically an abstract game, it does a nice job bringing you in, teaching you very few things at the beginning, and then having the game itself evolve as you are playing. And it gets thinkier and thinkier. I reviewed Royal Visit, which also gets a 7 out of 10. This is a reworking of a Regni game called Times Square. The original theme was a little bit of a mismatch for the game, and some of the pieces were hard to just sort of remember what they did. Didn't make a whole lot of sense. Well, this reworking is lovely from a production point of view, and the theme is a lot more solid. You can now explain why things work the way they work using the idea of, a wizard does this, the Joker or the Jester does this. So it's a nicer production. I'm glad this is back in print, especially like this. I reviewed Capital Lux 2, which I rated an 8 out of 10. This is a tricky sort of area majority card game with a lot of variability built into it. It's a follow-up, of course, to Capital Lux 1, but there's a lot more replayability, and it's a thinky card game. The ratio of game length to how much you're going to be sort of puzzling little things out is lovely in this one. Lastly, I reviewed with the fellas Sleeping Gods, and I rated it a 9.5 out of 10. I think it is a superb game. It is immersive, deep, enjoyable, engaging. My only two things that I would nitpick it for are Solitaire is a little bit much to maybe handle, and the rulebook could use some help. But that'll go away as you look things up and figure it out. Just a wonderful game. And that's it for me. I'll see you next time.
Hello everybody, this is Graeme, and this week I looked at Stampede. This is a light card game about collecting sets of animals. The game has super simple gameplay: draw a card, play a card, and take the action the card gives you. This would be a great game for families to play due to its approachability and then the randomness to level the playing field. But those same qualities didn't appeal to me as much as someone who likes more strategic games, and I gave this one a 6.5 out of 10. A good game for families, but just not for me. And that's it for this week.
Hey everybody, I'm Bryan Drake. On This Week in Review, I took a look at a couple of games. Number one is the Sherlock Files. This is a quick mystery game in which you pitch your skills solving crimes, in which you see how you stack up. It's random card based, in which you are in fact trying to solve a deductive narrative story. It's points based, kind of like Consulting Detective. See the review for the full thoughts, but I'm not a fan of the randomness, that's for sure. But next, I took a look at the Anachrony Infinity Box. Now, this was an overview of all the contents that come in there, including that really nice tray, as well as all the new components, but also looking at how it combines everything from all the expansions into one box. Phenomenal product, beautiful game. Love this game. It's one of the best of all time. But that is what I took a look at this week.
Hey there everybody, it's DiLisio, and this week I reviewed 3 games. Spoiler alert, they were all really good. First of all, I reviewed the solo mode for Canvas. I gave this game an 8 out of 10. This is a really cool kind of card crafting game where you're putting art cards semi-transparent together to create these paintings. Really quick to play, simple to learn, but a lot of fun. I like Canvas a lot. I also did the solo review for the Whatnot Cabinet, a new game from Pencil First Games. I gave this an 8.5 out of 10 and a seal of excellence. This is a really cool puzzle game with a very unique and very endearing theme where you're trying to collect objects to place into your little curio cabinet. A neat puzzly game. I like it a lot. And finally, I was part of the Foursquare review for Sleeping Gods, the newest epic game from Ryan Lockett and Red Raven Games. This is a game that I think is fantastic. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, a seal of excellence for that as well. I did have some issues with the game, but they could not take away from the fact that this is one of the best open world storytelling board games I've ever played. A really terrific game. Check out that review if you'd like to see more. That's it for me this week. Let's keep it moving.
Okay, so for me, first we have Keys to the Ice Castles. It's a kid's game where you flip over tiles and hope you have the right key to match different tiles. Just too lucky, even for kids. Galilean Moons. This is one I think someone said I had the lowest rating on Board Game Geek of this game. I think it's probably a fine game. It just fell flat for me. It was just cold, a little boring, themeless, but some people might like it, and it's a gorgeous production for sure. Firefly Dance, it's a little memory game for kids where you stick a wand on the fireflies to light them up, but it's basically memory. Kids will enjoy it. Kittin, another game for kids mostly, where you're stacking little kittens as fast as you can, like Jenga style. Atheneum. This one was really close for me, but it ultimately fell, mostly because it looks very boring. The game is a neat, you draft a card, you play a card, you get something, and so do both your neighbors from your card. So that concept's cool, but the gameplay itself is a little luckier than I'd like for the strategy it seems that it has. And like I said, just to look at. Praga, a very big, involved Euro-style game from Vladimir Suchi, who did Underwater Cities. If you like crunchy Euro games, this is one. It has a neat action selection mechanism. I like it. I have a few minor problems with it, but it's certainly good if involved game. Mondrian Blocks. This is a little puzzle where you're just basically filling in a puzzle, but it's based on the art from Mondrian. It's cool. Groundhog Day is a fun little game where you are playing basically cards out like The Mind, but it's a cooperative game. It's hard to explain. You'll have to watch the review to see how it works. Super Fantasy Brawl. Now this rating is my daughter's. I think mine would be a 6 actually. But we're kind of combining them all. This game has gorgeous miniatures, fantastic art. Way overproduced. I very rarely say that about games, but this one is extremely overproduced, unfortunately. It's a small game. It just didn't resonate with me as much as I wanted it to. It's okay, but the card combat and I don't know, there's just something about it that didn't grab me. Cantaloop. Bryan, Drake, and I took a look at this one. I really like this. It is essentially a point-and-click adventure. And it would probably actually be a 9, but I don't like the component quality. It feels like it's lower quality, and the book is not as good as a boxed game would be. But if you like those old LucasArts point-and-click adventures, you'll like Cantaloop. And then Sleeping Gods. And can you believe this is the lowest rating of all 4 of us here? I really love this game. I just think it has a few flaws. It's really difficult, and I think combat's a little meh for me. But all that being said, it is an amazing experience, and I want to play it again. I also took a look at the app version of Crimson Company. We played Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition live. Tim and I started a new series called Delay of Game, where we take a look at an older game, and the first one, Crown of Amara. So that we're taking a look at older games, and Tim and I are going back and forth on those. Another werewolf game went up this week, and we took a look at our top 10 hybrid games. And of course, as always, we did our normal stuff, crowd surfing, board game breakfasts, boring unboxing went up, and Shoots and Marbles, the most fabulous marble racing show on our channel. All that and more is what we did this past week. I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching Week in Review on the Dice Hour. See you next time.